Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the difference. I think the people that provide for you, you should eat exactly like them.
I don't want to sound like I'm overthinking it because I know a lot of y'all can't keep up, but this SNAP benefit situation clearly shows y'all could not survive a world built off natural selection. If the government really stood back, if they just let everything go and let the world be who they want to be without them, y'all would not survive. Let's say they just only protected us from invasion of other countries, but you have to do everything else yourself. Y'all would not survive the natural selection. You couldn't get your own food. You couldn't keep your own crib. You couldn't educate your own kids. Y'all would literally not survive a world of natural selection. Y'all response to the SNAP benefits is don't celebrate the holiday. Keep your money. Everyone's going to be affected because food prices going to go up. Yeah, but this is natural selection. This is how the world moves. Without the government, right? What y'all going to do when all those wolves start attacking the sheeps? You either going to turn into a wolf yourself, you going to follow behind them like a fox, or you going to be slaughtered. That's how natural selection works. And this one issue with just benefits is showing y'all that y'all are biting the hand that feeds you. A lot of y'all are against the government. You constantly protesting. You constantly talking about them. But then you turn to the same internet where you're bashing them and you're trying to hold them accountable to continue to feed you and put food on your table.
He preaching.
They don't have to do that. This is them showing you we don't have to do a lot of the things we do. But they understand the benefits of who they are. And a lot of people take it for granted. You can't be biting the hand that feeds you and then turning around and talking shit about the person who that hand belonged to. It don't make any sense. Y'all have to pick a new battle. Pick a new fight.
If EBT was only food, nobody would complain.
I don't feel the need for my benefits back. I don't feel the need to pay for food. I have food stamps since 2016. Yes, taxpayers. So, you trying to take it away now? I don't think so.
The thing that bothers me the most is the entitlement. A government decides to help you because of decisions that you might have made, and then you assume it's going to be there forever.
I cannot believe that they're going to be taking away food stamps for November because I have not worked in over 14 years and now I'm going to be without food for my kids. Like, what am I supposed to do now that the holidays are coming? What am I going to be cooking for Thanksgiving if I can't even afford it? You know, if I'm not getting my November deposit, what am I going to do? And this is what happens when all you dumbasses out there vote for Trump. Like, he has ruined our fucking country. Like, doesn't he have enough with deporting all the people that he's deporting? Now, you know, the government has shut down. They can't come to a deal. So now we can have our fucking food stamps.
Remember to subscribe.
Like, you mean that now we're going to have to go to work to be able to buy food for our family? That is honestly ridiculous.
I don't even know what I have to say. Like, it's so normal for me. And somebody's like, why do I have to do that? But the whole idea that I now have to go to work to pay for my food, I'm like
I said, I haven't held a job in over 14 years because I don't want to lose my benefits. So with that being said, if any of you guys see anyone stealing groceries from the grocery store, mind your motherfucking business. And, you know, this also comes from all you haters out there that, you know, work a 9 to 5 and you're like, but I can't afford to feed my family. Well, then maybe you need to get a second job or a better paid fucking job.
As I said before, it's the entitlement.
You know how many people I've seen sell food stamps to get their hair done, nails done, their toes done, buy an outfit to go to the club, drugs? Yep. A lot. If I've seen it, other
happens all the time.
You know what? That's why people don't give two fucks. I've seen people, women, get a new man. The man got the food stamp. Now, the food stamp is for her and her kids. The man has the food stamp card and he in the grocery store buying shit that he wants.
Shout out to Poor Man's Podcast. I really love his channel. He actually motivated me to go in this direction. The fact that he's laughing, confirming this is happening in his country, that's wild.
People see that shit. You know what? They don't give two fucks.
Yeah, and what's interesting is people will always talk about the shopping carts that are full of steak and lobster, but usually those people don't even understand that the people who are buying the steak and lobster aren't even the people who got the EBT in the first place.
When I heard it, I was like, so it's like a business. Certain people get the EBT cards. Hey, I sell them.
People who qualify for EBT, their families are so big that they couldn't even feed their families going out and buying steak and lobster. But the people who are buying the steak and lobster are the people who bought the EBT from people who were selling the EBT.
I just think the issue is that when you have a shopping cart that is half full and you see somebody on the EBT with the cart full, but with not healthy food, I'm not surprised you can be a little vindictive and be like, what the heck is this?
You know, some kids go to school and get breakfast and lunch, no dinner, because mama and I sold the food stamps for shit that she wanted.
Yep.
Dumb people don't give two fucks. And people are saying, well, what about my kids? Well, yeah, what about your kids when you had the food stamps, you out there selling them?
Right.
What did you think about your children then?
Exactly. You know why I work so hard? It's not because I like to work really hard. It's because I think about my daughter all the time.
The only benefit I got is because I got fired. I decided, you know, I work all my life. I want to chill a little. And just because of that, my kids don't have to pay at school to eat. At least one of them. Because he has autism.
The fucked up shit that people do, people see that. So
Right.
now people are like, I don't care. Life is about to start life for a lot of people. But don't get mad when people don't give two fucks. Because we see so many people out there abusing that shit that they be like, I don't give a shit. You know, what about my kids? What about your kids? When you was out there doing that fucked up shit with them food stamps, what about you?
And the problem with this current system, it's really easy to abuse and claim it's fair.
Hey, and yes, we at Sam's doing the shopping haul. So y'all come along with us and let's get some stuff out of Sam's. I'm really just gonna be a very short video, just a little tic-tac, boom bam, you feel me? But yeah, y'all, let's get into it. They got some animal crackers for $8.98, so we just gonna grab one of these. So yeah, my kids like Nutri-Grain bars, so they for about 30 seeds for $9.98, so we gonna grab that. We gonna put it on. So yeah, we already started shopping. So we got some chips, some blow pop for the kids, some little bites, some hot chips, some fruit snacks, some gushers, some powdered donuts, oatmeal pies, some honey buns, and yeah, so let's get it. Seems like crunch here, a box of 2 bags for 49 ounces for $7.98. So we're gonna grab one of those, and they got Frosted Flakes for $7.80.
I didn't see anything nutritional. I don't understand how you can spend $1,000 buying food. I've never spent $1,000. It's like you're waiting for the Walking Dead season. Hey, am I ready to survive on nutritional food?
EBT mother on a budget of $300 to $400, even when I only had $200. You know what's cheaper than a $3 pack of Little Debbie snacks? A 50-cent can of fucking green beans, okay? You know what's cheaper than 3 packs of soda? A bunch of cans of 50-cent cans of vegetables, okay? You know what's cheaper than the $150 you spent on chips, sugar, soda, all of that shit? Buying a bunch of meat. Because the amount of snacks that you bought are enough to last you 2 weeks, and the amount of meat that I bought is enough to last me the entire month of November while I wait for food benefits to fix
I've
themselves.
said it before. A lot of people eat poor bad. They have wild diets, and people are like, wait, we need those so they can eat healthy, because if they don't eat healthy, it will stop their growth. Stop my... I'm sorry. It's just... It bothers me so much when people take advantage of people.
Stock up on pasta. You can stock up on staples, okay? Look at that. After buying all healthy foods to ensure that my children are having as less problematic foods in their diet as possible, look at the money I have left over for snacks. We got cookies, we got baked cheddar, whatever the fuck these are, pretzels, a bag of fruit snacks, and saltine crackers. And you know what my children don't complain about? Mom, why can't we have cake and ice cream and sugar all the time? I don't give a crap. I don't think children should starve, but I don't think children should be being fed poisonous shit all the time because parents want to boo-hoo over the fact that they're not willing to get their lives in order. And obviously, I'm not talking about disabled. Obviously, I'm not talking about elderly.
And this is the part I hate. Why do we need to talk about the disclaimer? I'm not talking about those people. I'm not talking about those people, as if you're explaining this to a kid.
And obviously, I'm not talking about the parent that just lost her husband and now has to do it on her own. Obviously, I'm not talking about people who got raped and had to take care of a kid that was forced upon them. So don't make it into that. My children are so health conscious that I can let them have their whole Halloween bag of candy in their room, and they only limit themselves to a piece a day. They're not super dependent on sugar. They don't freak out because I don't give them the bag of chips. It's all about how you raise your child. The reason your kid wants a plethora of unhealthy foods versus vegetables is because that unhealthy foods is what you shoved in their face the most.
I would say they learn by examples, and you're their example. So if you eat like that, they will eat like that.
We're gonna grab one of those. Let's go down the season aisle. So at Sam's, I come here and I get the big old seasoning salt. So I'm gonna grab one of those, and it is for $6.68, which is a good price. And yeah, let's see what else we need. So yeah, that's what we're gonna grab here from the season aisle. That's the only thing I'm gonna get out of here. They got some olive oil for $11.48, so we're gonna grab one of these. Yeah, yellow rice, and they got it for $5.78, so we're gonna grab one of those. Like I said, y'all, the video is not gonna be long. It's gonna be a short video. So we're gonna grab this pack right here for $7.98. It's actually on sale. Easter saving $1. So we're gonna grab one of these with 2 ketchup, mustard, and sweet relish. Get some of this ranch right here for $12.48, and that's the Healing Valley for $12.48, 2 packs. Yeah. So they got the Velveeta macaroni and cheese, shell macaroni and cheese for $14.98. I usually don't buy this, but I ran out of macaroni and cheese, and I went to my sister's house and got this. And she had it, and it tastes pretty good, so I'm gonna grab a case of those. The twins like the ravioli, so we're gonna grab 2 cases of those for the twins. So they got spaghetti noodles, $5.48 for 6 packs of spaghetti noodles. So we're gonna go with those. Some of this regular spaghetti sauce, we're gonna grab one of these.
Comment section, this shit makes me sick. I had to be on food stamps. I had 6 kids times worked off. That was like 30 years ago, but back then in Ohio, you got food stamps for 6 months, and that was, it was so you had 6 months to get your career figured out. Simple. It wasn't about a freaking life. It makes me sick. This is why everybody is so freaking obese as F. So instead of stocking up on meat, she was stocking up on freaking junk food.
Over 40 million people are about to lose their food stamps. Over 40 million people are about to not know how to feed themselves or their children because they've been living off the government. And this is exactly why conservatives have the narrative that you should never rely on the government. Because the reality is, if they can feed you, they can also starve you. And that's why socialism will never work and is never a good idea. Yet, those same 40 million people that are about to lose their food stamps are the ones that vote for socialistic policies. And the most ironic part about it is, who do you think they're blaming? Trump and the Republican Party. When in reality, the Biden administration is the one that made welfare, food stamps, all of those programs so obtainable and accessible for everybody. They helped a good chunk of those 40 million people become reliant on the government. Why would they do that? Power and control. If they can control the food that goes on your table, if your lights come on in your house, if you can feed your children, if you can stay warm in the winter, if they can control all of that, they secure your vote. On top of it, the reason you are losing your food stamps is because Democrats refuse to reopen the government due to Republicans saying we don't want to sign a bill that gives immigrants health care. You heard me right. The politicians that you voted in, the politicians that promised you all these free programs and free this and free that, they're the ones not giving it to you right now. You are losing your food stamps because your party, the Liberal Party, cares more about non-citizens than it does about you putting food on your table. You are losing your food stamps because of who you voted for and what it truly means to vote for people who think socialism is the answer. Relying on the government is never the answer, okay? Get a job, save your money. Just because it's in your bank account doesn't mean you have to spend it, and only have the amount of kids you can provide for. If you do those simple things, the next time the government shuts down, it's not going to make a damn difference to you because you're going to be self-reliant. But this is exactly why voting for Democrats and voting for liberals is the worst possible thing you can do.
And as you can see, if Democrat cares more about them than yourself, you can't blame the government.
That most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans. Think about that. And we didn't know about any of this before the government shutdown started, but thanks to Democrats, we can confirm tonight that millions of Joe Biden illegal aliens, people who crossed the border when Joe was president, are now collecting food stamps from a program funded by hardworking American taxpayers.
Oh, Senator Chris Murphy said the quiet part out loud that we've been all saying for some time now. Check this out.
So you are right that that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe, and it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country. For the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
Uh-oh. You said the quiet part out loud and caught yourself live stream. That's why you paused and said Americans right after that. We see right through you Democrats, honestly. Like, this entire shutdown has been for undocumented people, and they're blatantly saying it. You got the House Minority Whip out here literally saying that she knows that American citizens are going to be hurt during the shutdown, and that's their only leverage. She said it herself, and now we have Senator Chris saying it straight out. We only care about undocumented Americans.
Before you want to blame Republicans about something, maybe you need to blame the Democrats. Because if they have the chance, they will send your SNAP to them. They would fight for that, not yours.
That is so funny. Workers who don't work, students who don't study, educators who don't educate, and politicians who cannot lead, so they buy votes instead. But somehow they figured it out. They create dependence and call it compassion. They create victims and call it justice. Create laziness and call it equality. And a bunch of dumb people fall for that. Yesterday I made a video about how crazy it is that more than 40 million people here in America are relying on food stamps to get their basic groceries. And then as I did more research, I found out that in Brazil, my home country, we have more than 94 million people receiving some sort of benefit from the government. That's almost half of the country. And this scares me really, because I know how things work in Brazil, and I know votes are completely bought. These people are going to vote for the ones who keep their checks coming in. And I feel like the same thing is happening now here in America. And now I'm going to say something that is controversial, but shouldn't be. I don't think these people should vote. Honestly, how can you vote freely when you're being bought? Welfare was supposed to be temporary help, but it's become a lifestyle. Worse than that, it's become a political strategy. And that is not compassion. That's control disguised as kindness.
If somebody didn't have to vote to get food, I think they would vote different. I think most people would agree with that. Because I have many people that say, immigrants come here, they're conservative, but they keep voting Democrat. I don't think it's because they like the Democrat. It's just because they care what they can get.
42 million people losing their SNAP benefits come November 1st. And then when I look at the numbers of the amount of people and where they're from, I'm going to say this is a much needed process, bruh. Because you're telling me of the 42 million people, only like 30% of that 42 million are actually Americans? And I mean 30% of the 42 million are actually Americans who were born here, who are disabled, who are veterans, who are actually people who literally and actually need this assistance. Because if I'm looking at this report that says 51% of the total number of people that are receiving these SNAP benefits are purely because of their religious beliefs, meaning these people are Muslims or from the Islamic religion, Islamic countries. They're from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, these places. And they are receiving these benefits purely because, for one, their women aren't allowed to work. Their women are allowed to have multiple children. They are 100% supposed to be home to cherish and nurture their children. Their husbands are allowed to have multiple wives, and with those multiple wives having multiple children, meaning they're getting multiple thousands of dollars per month. And if you think about it, it makes total sense why the Americans that are getting the pocket change, who are not having kids, and even if they're having kids, they got like 2-3 kids, and then their 2-3 kids are disabled, right? And then they're the ones making all the noise because they're getting pocket change when these people from the Islamic countries are getting thousands and thousands of dollars, and they're in a household with 3 other women that are filing for these benefits as head of the household. So in the one house, there are 4 wives getting like 4 or 5 grand a pop because they have like 4 or 5 kids a pop, right? And their husbands are just going out to these meetings trying to convert more people. But at the end of the day, they're getting like $15,000-$20,000 a month for the one household. And who knows how many bank accounts they have. No wonder when I see these people going out on vacation, they're just so comfortable. And it's like irritating, but at the end of the day, this shit needs to stop, because a lot of these people came here, right? They came here seeking better, but then they came here to live the same way and the same rules, live by the same rules that made their country turn into shit in the first place.
So as you can see, it was never about black people want EBT and SNAP. It's about handling an issue, and they're using black people as a shield.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Buta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam jam, turloqueta, verdetta, welcome.